and bienvenue to Lost in Translation, where I explore with guests a word and draw upon their experience, their life story, their culture, their point of view, so no one ever gets lost in translation. I'm your host, Cynthia Bernard, and together, let's bridge gaps, embrace different cultures, and honor every single voice. Welcome to Lost in Translation, where we unlock the true meaning behind words, ensuring that no one ever gets lost along the way. Welcome back to part 2 of the interview with Jessie Price, the director of the Magnolia project. Welcome to Lost in Translation. At what moment of the maybe creative process or even competition season you were like, all right, that is going to bring us far. We can go top with this show.
Well, let's see.
Or did you not focus on this at all? Like, did you?
No, well, it's hard not to focus on it, just because like my goal is never to be better than anybody, but to be the very best version of what I think we can achieve possible. So especially when I talk about like my competitive nature, it's really always like with myself and like what we did yesterday and like what number we got yesterday, or, because I feel like when you focus on other teams or what everybody else is doing, it just takes away from what you're doing, and I've never been the type of person to like hope for someone else's defeat in order to have my own success. Like that, doesn't make any kind of sense to me. But I don't know that we really ever fully knew what was going to happen until it happened. Yeah. Because I've always, from the very beginning of the season, I knew that like the kids were going to be great. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I realized that everything would align exactly the way that it did until it happened. We had success at the few regionals that we went to. But even still then, I think after the regional season, I was kind of comfortable knowing that we would make finals. Because, from the very beginning of the season, finals was always the goal. Yeah. I didn't care what else happened, but that was my tangible goal, was just making finals because we didn't year before, so we just wanted to make finals. And then, and they say never to pay attention to the rankings, really, that's just to
especially
kind of like,
in A class,
especially in A class, because things have flip-flopped. I've been there and watched it happen. I've watched groups go from, like 30th in the rankings to winning A class,
or the opposite. We were ranked 8th and ended up 27th, not making semis. Like it happens. Yeah. It does.
It does happen. And that's why I always try not to ever be like comfortable or confident in what's happening. And especially this past year, like again, finals was the goal. And I was pretty confident that we would make finals, going into WGI. And then after prelims, we were 4th coming out of prelims, and we had gotten a penalty.
This year?
And this year, we got a penalty coming out of prelims. And so we were 4th. And so of course we were all like just nervous, like, we got back to, the place that we were staying. Kids got equipment. We went outside. Like, I mean, it was just, it wasn't chaotic. Everybody just knew that there was a job to be done. Yeah. So quietly, like we got back, everybody changed clothes, unloaded their stuff. We got to it. We changed a couple things, that night. And let me put this thing. Sorry. And then the next day, we were, I think, 2nd coming out of semis. But honestly, until retreat and we were sitting there listening to the announcement, we had no idea, no clue what was going to happen, what was going to happen. Yeah. It's still surreal to me, honestly.
Yeah, we're taking longer than we plan. So tell me if this is taking too much time. But I'm just
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, but so can I ask what penalty was? What was?
Yes, we got a back sideline penalty. So we which I this could sound very crazy and stupid to like the mass public, but I had zero clue that that there was a back sideline penalty.
I'm raising my hand. I'm raising my hand. There is I was with Lazy Clips with a C mm-hmm. for several years, and the year I don't want to be mistaken, but it doesn't really matter. Does it matter? Anyway, I think it's a year that we were ranked second, or no, mm-hmm. we were ranked 8th, but we ended 4th. So mm-hmm. Anyway, but in open class. I didn't know there was a rule about not, like you said, I think it was pretty much the same rule, but going out, like having a member coming out of a field, and those so many groups with a kid mm-hmm. running out of the field and going through that curtain on the right hand corner, blah, blah, blah. And we did it the entire year at every regional. Mm-hmm. Nothing happened. We're at that prelim site. There's no outside corner door, but there was like a little, I called it a cocoon and everyone made fun mm-hmm. of me because that's a loss in translation type of thing, but just a corner. But the girl did go out of the competing area and we got mm-hmm. a penalty. And I was like, what is this? And as much as you can know everyone from the Chief Jeff and stuff, you're at WGI. No one is going to be like, yeah, that's fine. You have your point, whatever, your right. 0.1 back. And it happened at prelims too. So I was told like, you're right. Like you're not going to have that at finals. Just breathe in, breathe out and go mm-hmm. in semis type of thing. But you're not a bad person to not know that rule. It's just something that or a bad director. It's just, we don't,
I had no idea. And so, we had just gotten set up and, Sean, one of the choreographers, was still on the back moving equipment forward. And, we were like, you have get off the floor. We're going to get a timing penalty. But, someone had just told him that our stuff was beyond that line. And so he was moving it so that we didn't get a penalty for, I think, the equipment being over the line. And it wasn't the equipment that we ended up getting a penalty for. It was because members had to step over that line mm-hmm. to pick up their equipment mm-hmm. and come back into the performance space. Mm. So we ended up getting, I think it was a 0.2.
Wow.
0.2 or 0.3 penalty.
Oh my God.
After prelims. And so we were all just kind of freaking out. And I was like, guys, it's going to be okay. We're going to gain it back. We're going to get it back. Oh, yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, because that's an easy gain. It's just don't do it again type of thing.
Right.
But 0.3 for people that don't know, and when you're up to championship you're lucky it was only 2 positions because it could have been, especially yet again in A class, it could have been.
And thank God for Sean being back there, moving that equipment
it would have been
forward
a lot more.
Because it would have been way more. It could have been points.
Because it's every touch, almost like football, every physical,
it's a 10th of a point, I think,
every time a physical mm-hmm. touch. Because I asked that question to Carlo because it's not a flag overing the line for people that are curious. If your equipment or even your body overs the line, and correct me if I'm not using the right word again, English is my second from afar, but it's if your body touches the other side of the line. So if you pick up an equipment or if your feet
if your body goes over the line at all.
But touches the ground. So that's why you got those penalties. Because if it was just a flag going over the line, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, but wow, that's well, anyway, so thank you. So let's take a short break and stay tuned because we're going to talk a little bit more about the championship adventures because it's so interesting. And then your premiere in open class.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, the producer from On a Water Break, the main show. And while you're enjoying this great bonus content from some amazing hosts, there's a whole other show happening with guests, news, and plenty of other fun things that you and your friends are talking about on a water break. So take a moment, go subscribe so that you can get your notifications every week for the main episode of On a Water Break. If you have news or know of somebody that would be a great guest, or maybe you would be a great guest, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at onawaterbreak. And now back to this fantastic bonus content.
And we'll see you at the show.
So welcome back. Now, Jessie, the other thing that I think was really interesting from the outside, maybe a little bit, is that you, if I'm not mistaken, did regional with Purdue most of the time, or at least the second one. Am I right?
Yes, we saw, I think we saw Purdue both times.
So how did it feel? Were you ever scared to be bumped? Because this year it was really interesting. When you look at, and maybe that's me being a geek again, but when you analyze all the regionals, the top 5, it was either like Liz Eclipse were like the only ones in the high rankings, except St. Anne's then, but we knew that didn't make championship, or I don't know what the other group is, and I'm so sad. The one that got 4th, and I'm sorry I forgot the name of the group, but they were the only ones, and they did like a first weekend regional, so no one knew collage how that would go, and it was amazing at WGI. And then you and Purdue, and then Pacific Hers that were I think kind of alone in the high rankings, finalists at that regional too. And then you and Purdue, and for people that don't know, all the top 3 of every regional are reviewed in, I think, all of the classes, but I know in A class. Were you ever, because being bumped is a nightmare, I think, for any director. Were you ever really scared of it?
Yes, both times. We were really, really nervous about it because, like you said, I know for sure it's the top 3 of A class after every regional get reviewed. And, you know, we had... especially after that first regional, because we won that regional. And I was super nervous that we were going to get promoted. And then it didn't happen. So we were all like, you know, we were all comfortable for those few weeks. And then we went out to the last regional of the season, and we were second at the end of that weekend. And again, we're completely nervous, you know, because right after that, we got the email, hey, you're being reviewed. And we were super nervous, mostly at that point because we were already so close to nationals. Like we were so close to championships.
Yes. And you and Purdue were like already undeniable. You were both so really, really good that if it happened, both of you would have gotten promoted.
Yeah, we were just, I mean, it was just one of those, like, you know, we only have like 3 weeks to make something happen. And in that time we had our like circuit championships, Easter weekend, you know, like there were things, you know, between that last regional weekend and then WGI, you know, I was like, I guess we'll just, you know, we'll do what we can. We'll make the best plan, you know, going in and just see what we can do and hope for the best. But it didn't end up happening, thank goodness.
Yeah.
So
I really think that program would have not looked out of place in open class either. But when you write a show to the class that you're dedicated to and you want to do it and you have such great success but you feel at the right place. It just, thank God it didn't happen. And in a sense, I don't know how it went for you guys, but they do give answers about reviews pretty quick. So you're not like a full 5 days and like
right.
cleaning your fingers off. So going back to championship, that happens at semis. Everyone should know that semis is kind of the most important show of the three, I feel. And then the show was undeniable. You had a great performance, but that happened. How did you manage the pressure with the kids? Because they're not like 30-year-olds performer. Like, how did you manage the pressure with the kids and to keep that in the right headspace? And then yet again, now that I know, having them being so vulnerable with the program that they had in hand, like how did you and they manage?
Well, and you're right about their age. They're very, very young, a very young group. I think our average age was like, for the majority of the season, our average age was 17. And then it only changed to 18 because somebody had a birthday. Like one of the older kids turned 20, I think, or something like that. And so, that made our average age like 18, but still, I mean, relatively young. But one thing that I talk to the kids a lot about, especially from the very beginning of the season, is that I just generally do not believe in luck. I believe that if you are prepared for what is supposed to happen, then and of course, like freak things happen all the time. Sometimes things just aren't, you just don't place things in the air where, it should be, stuff happens all the time, but I feel like if you're as prepared from a skill set perspective, from a training, fundamental perspective, then, that's really all the preparation that you can do. So getting nervous, and of course everybody has jitters performing, before performing, but, I feel like, kind of practicing that patience is just as important as well. Like, and, luck, nothing is really going to make or break that performance or that run through but you. So I try to make sure that kids feel like they are in complete control of what's going to happen and how to recover, or how, like what to do if something happens. So that way they're not going in thinking, oh, well, if this happens, then I don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know how I'm going to recover. And then they have, then they're out for 36 counts trying to recover and get back in, or things like that. But again, like I said, like, I don't believe in luck. So I feel like if you are trained, that's really the only true way to prepare. You know what I mean? It's just like, so I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything really like else that there's no like ritual or anything like that we do. Nothing, before like our performance or anything like that. We have our, our mental run through, and then we listen to and watch another video by Kid President that we've done for years and years. And a lot of it talks about like, this is what we create that will make the world awesome. And, like I just talked to them about, I mean, we do this during rehearsal. We do this over and over and over. And all you're doing is you're just doing it one more time. Yeah. And if you trust yourself and you trust your training and you trust your skill set, like, being nervous isn't going to change anything. So, and when you have the choice of being nervous or confident, let's pick being confident, because you don't have a reason not to be confident. No. You have the training and the background to support what it is that you're doing. So, Yeah, no,
that's great. And so you second at semis, how did it feel? Because you're saying you realize, and I feel like maybe people that didn't go through, and it's not even just a medal, it's just having, and I'm saying this because the year that we didn't medal, I kind of didn't realize that we were so happy to be fourth, and we were ranked to go anyway. But And there's so much of that buzz. And I was part of the buzz being like, you're going to medal. And I think I wrote to you, like, you're going to hate me, but like, I'm talking about medal. And it's true, because when you're at that position, people are like, I don't know if it happened to you locally, but you're around Purdue. So I don't know if locally you compete with them, but we were stopped by people, and members were stopped by people saying, bring back a medal. And I was like, you need to shut up and move on, because you don't say that to a kid.
Right.
Although you think it's being just supportive and positive, it's just a lot of pressure, and they just need to do their job. It is a lot of
pressure. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
How did it feel? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. Go ahead.
But how did it feel when it happened? Like, now you got it. You're there. Like,
it was crazy. Because like you said, we had a lot of people like, hey, bring us home that medal, like, and so my response was just like, okay, like we're going to try, we're going to do our best. We're going to try. Thank you. But I didn't want the kids, like, because if it didn't happen, I didn't want them to equate that with failure, because then in that instant, it almost seems like once that one thing happens, like, I didn't want the kids to feel like the rest of the season wasn't worth it. I didn't want them to feel like the memories that they created and, like all of those things didn't happen, and so I try not to put a lot of weight in it to them. But obviously, like, who doesn't want to go home from WGI with some jewelry, and so retreat was happening. They all came out, and, they do like 15th through 4th in one class, and then they switch classes and do 15th through 4th. So we were sitting there and we were just waiting, and they got to, 4th, and it wasn't us. And so, like, we all just kind of like started freaking out. And it was funny because our friends, one of our friends who's on staff at Dobbins Bennett, on Scholastic A, they were all sitting beside us, and I think they got more of a kick out of watching us react, than anything else. And I mean, I was very audible, like squealing, and my husband was sitting beside me, and we were holding hands. And at one point, he was like, "I can't breathe. I think I'm gonna pass out. And
was your daughter around? Because
she was with us.
Oh yeah,
she was there sitting with us, and so she was excited as well. And then they got to 3rd, and it wasn't us, and we freaked out even more. And then they called us for 2nd, and we just I could not have been more proud in that moment. Then it was just, it's still, I'm actually right now looking at the trophy because it sits on our record player, and it's crazy. And it's so surreal. It doesn't feel real, because it happens so rarely. And watching the kids, like, it felt like first. And watching them finally get what they have worked so hard, what everybody worked so hard for all season, it's something that I'll never forget. It was it was absolutely amazing.
And oh my God, you're so, I was going to say lucky, but that's not what it is. It's deserved. It's the work, it's recognition that you hope for in the 5 or 10 people that have the pencil in their hand, or now it's not a pencil anymore, but the iPad and it's absolutely no shade at Pacific Airs that are also undeniable. And as a program, I think a lot of people should learn about Pacific Airs because they got first, for people who didn't know, got the gold medal. Pacific Airs has an amazing training program, and they base their entire program around movement. And those kids are, I think, even younger than your kids, if I'm not mistaken.
They are very, very young. We actually spoke to the directors quite a bit at the Vegas meeting last month. And their average age is like 14.
It's amazing.
It's wild. Yes.
So people, if have a chance to reach out and steal or from them and their knowledge and the way that they do things, But what I was going to say is I did write to you that silver medal looks gold from here because every position, when it's so well deserved and so well thought out and there's so much, their gold medal look gold. And there's other groups that I don't remember that name of the group yet again. I'm so bad, but the group that they had 5 girls on the field. I think they got like 10th or 8th. Or
yes.
Cascades or something. I'm so Cascadia, I think. Oh my God, I think I got it right. But their position looked gold because it's so like group. I don't know, like it's that something. So congrats, and I'm so happy for you guys. I don't know you deeply, but from. It's just well deserved, and those moments, like you say, are so rare, and you grasp on it, and you and to have it with your family. Like now that I'm a mama, it's just so touching. So now you're moving and preparing to open class.
Yes,
and that's exciting. How do you foresee the season? Was there changes you want to do, or you just rely on what you've been doing? And
well, I'm a firm believer in if it ain't broke, there's a couple of things that we're going to do a little bit differently, but not much. The structure of the way that we've been running the program seems to be working for us. So in terms of like structure, nothing's really going to change. We'll add like a rehearsal here and there because with, up until now, during our full season, after the training season, during our full season, if we do not have a competition, then we practice on Saturdays and Sundays. And then if we do have a competition, we practice Friday nights, and then we have the show all day Saturday, and then I let the kids have Sundays off. Because again, they're all either in high school or very, very new in college, like freshmen, sophomores. And so I always try to give them time, to like get home, get settled, have homework. Sunday to get their homework done, and make sure they're prepared for school so that their academics don't suffer, and different things like that. And so I've, we always try to make the schedule over the weekend, like accommodating and, flexible and comfortable for the kids so that, they can achieve all the things that they want to be able to do. And so in terms of like rehearsal time, like we're adding, a couple here and there, but nothing like super major. We're also adding to the staff this year, to our permanent staff anyway, because of course choreographers and stuff aren't there, and drill writers aren't there every weekend. So we're adding to our training staff because it was there were a couple people this past year that came in like every couple of weeks, in the beginning of the season. And then I only had like really one other person that was kind of permanent in the last half of the season. So we're definitely adding, so it's not just like me or like me and one other person. But really, I mean, besides that, nothing else is really changing. Like we're not, trying to blow up the game, going into open class. We're just going to really try to focus on doing what we do well and see if that works for us this year.
I'm sure it's going to work. I mean, the top 3 is, and every class kind of overlaps on one another, doesn't it? So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen for you guys. What can the audience or anyone can expect with the Magnolia's Project performances and the type of shows you're going to do, or if you can say anything?
Well, I mean, without letting out, I guess, too much information, it's going to be something to see. For sure. I've always been very brave, like, and out there kind of when it comes to like the visual package or like props and, like the size of props and things like that. So it's going to be a big production.
Thank you.
I'm very excited about it. It's different than, I can say that it is a different direction than the previous 4 years.
Which, how could that be possible? I feel every show is different. Yeah.
So
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
so,
I'm really excited.
Yeah, so thank you, and stay tuned with the Magnolia Project Evolution on the upcoming winter. And I think, and I hope, and I think it's not a hope, but that the Magnolia Project can be a legacy for several years. I think you have it well based. But how can we follow you on social media or the Magnolia?
We are on Facebook and Instagram, and I think both of them are just the Magnolia Project Winter Guard. On Insta, it's all one word, the Magnolia Project Winter Guard. But that's it. We're just on Facebook and Instagram.
So watch out. I'm pretty sure that I know there were clinic you did not too long ago. There's going to be the auditions that will come up. So if you're interested, I think that didn't you put I was going to say subscribe, but didn't you put out they can register already to auditions?
We put out just like a Google Doc just to get information, but we're looking at mid-September right now for auditions, so they'll either be the 10th or 17th of September.
All right. Real cool. So thank you so much, Jessie. That was a great moment with you. I'm really happy to have talked to you a little bit more. And now you guys, whether you're a well-known person or simply someone that wants to have a meaningful conversation with me, this podcast is about giving everyone a chance to be heard. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a great story. You don't have to be medalist like Jessie, but everyone has something to say. So you can contact me, Cynthia Bernard, on Facebook or Instagram, or write to onawaterbreak@gmail.com or any of those social media. And I will be really happy to talk to anyone that wants to talk to me. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jessie, yet again. I hope to talk to you soon. Those episodes can happen fairly often, and really, I don't want to say best of luck, but have a great summer and have a great winter. I'm sure
thank you.
Great things are coming ahead. So thank you.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.